Hi, everybody. Happy Friday, first and foremost. I hope that you are feeling well. The sequence of Parashat names from last week to this, from Vayikra to Tzav, might be a pattern that sounds familiar from parenting or teaching. A gentler approach first with a call or a request, followed by more of a directive, perhaps even a command. During the past few weeks, both in the Heschel community and beyond, the call to prayer has felt different. Before our current situation, we might have chosen to have kavanah, focus or intentionality for certain tefillot, or not. Beyond the core tefillot, it seemed to be up to us to decide what mattered most to us on any given day. But not now. As we have found in our middle school tefillah, under our current circumstances, doesn't seem to be up to us to choose which tefillot to focus on. Rather, certain tefillot are commanding our attention, our kavanah, and I would like to share with you which we have found those to be and why they matter more to us now. First of all, Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov, a prayer for the physical spaces we find ourselves in. It has, of course, always been true that when we pray in a space, and even when we occupy spaces for other reasons, our goal is to make that space as sacred and meaningful as possible. This, in my opinion, has become harder and more important now that we find ourselves in the same spaces every day, as I discussed in the context of the Mishkan a few weeks ago. Ma Tovu helps direct our attention to this goal every single morning. In addition, one is reminded of what the rabbis teach about why Bil'am says our tents in the wilderness were good. Their openings didn't face each other in order to protect privacy, even in our wilderness encampment. This has special resonance now as well, for those of us who are sharing spaces with others. And finally, in an underlying message of universalism, this tefillah that we recite every morning was spoken by Bilam, who was not an Israelite. Our sense of universalism and shared humanity during these times thus finds expression in our recitation of this prayer. The morning blessings, Birkot HaShachar, give voice to many of our requests to God at this time and also remind us how our world has changed so fundamentally. As we stay in place, we relate to thanking God, who can free the imprisoned, Matir Asurim, in ways that most of us have never been able to before. And we also reflect that in our current reality, restricted mobility is actually safer than full freedom of movement, that those who move about unrestricted are at greater risk. When we thank God who set land upon water, Rokaha Aretz al Hamayim, we reflect on long distance travel that no longer exists. These were the artificial land bridges we created. In each of these blessings, however, we not only recognize what God does in the world, we are also naming this blessing. We are also naming the things that we must do when God does not. This is the original understanding of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. Our world is fractured and humanity must repair. When we assert that God has provided all I need, Asali Kol Tzarki, but world events seem to indicate otherwise, then it becomes our role to do what God does not seem to be doing. For example, in what ways can we use what God has provided to take care of ourselves and others? Shacharit, the morning service, opens with the world's creation and expresses our concern for all of humanity. Through God's goodness, we recite, not once, but twice, the world's creation is renewed every day. Uvtuvo machadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. And we feel our interconnectedness more when we read that the world is filled with God's creations. Mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. We recite, all are beloved, all are pure, and all are mighty. Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam giburim. We see calmness of spirit, nachat ruach, and together in voice, yachad b'kol, with a loud sound, berash gadol, we beseech a God who is healer of the sick, boreh riflot. Of course, even as we are able to find new meaning in our tefillot, we look forward to the day when the world returns to good health. In the meantime, may we continue to find strength and meaning in our daily communications with God and our community through the sacred words of our Siddur. Shabbat Shalom.